Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we love to say we are off, we are running. It is another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And welcome in on a Friday morning, everyone. Welcome in, and what a Friday it will be. Plenty of stuff going on. And we want to remind everybody to circle your calendars for next Wednesday. That is December 14th from 4 to 8. We invite you to head over to Flow Indoor Trampoline Park over there right off of Drake Avenue. And that is the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Listener Christmas Party. We're trying to give back something to you, the listener, and also for a great cause. And your price for admission that night to get in to our party is just a toy donation. And then you can enjoy, you and your family can enjoy Flow Indoor Trampoline Park absolutely free. We're taking it over. We are taking it over, literally taking it over, thanks to our presenting sponsor, Talent Heating and Air. We want to fill that Rambo Marine boat with toys. That is our goal. Bring as many toys as you can to help us fill that Rambo Marine boat. And we are off. We are running. What a Friday it is. Plenty to get to. No shortage of football talk. No shortage of basketball talk. We got no shortage of everything to get through this morning. So we already, 256-576-4977, if you want to join the show, if you want to join the program this morning, all you got to do is reach out to us via that Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We'll be glad to talk with you on a Friday. What do we have in store for you this morning? Well, we already have been talking about the top four Heisman finalists, okay? We already know that Georgia's Stetson Bennett, TCU's Max Duggan, Ohio State's C.J. Stroud, and USC's Caleb Williams have made the top four. We already know that. We already know that they are headed to New York City. But yesterday they did release the top 10 in voting. And so the reason why these guys are not in New York City is because their percentage of votes was so far down the line that they only invited 4 to New York City. So finishing 5th in the Heisman this year. Now this is where they finished. This isn't just top 10. This isn't just 10 names. These are, and this is their order of finish, 5 through 10. So finishing 5th in the Heisman race this year was Hendon Hooker of Tennessee. Finishing 6th in the Heisman this year, Bryce Young finished 6th. Blake Corum of Michigan would finish 7th in the voting. Michael Penix Jr. of Washington finished 8th. Bijan Robinson of Texas finished 9th. And Drake May, who may be the most talked about quarterback this offseason because it's whether or not he is going to end up in the transfer portal at North Carolina, finished 10th. So that is how the voting 5 through 10 finished. And Drew, Hendon Hooker 5, Bryce Young 6. That is the bottom 5, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how they voted in the Heisman this year.
It's to me, again, I thought Hendon Hooker, and even Bryce is still playing, but Hendon and Blake Corum were penalized too much for the injuries. No doubt about that. I think they should have finished higher in the Heisman Trophy voting. I mean, but heck, I've made no bones about it on this show. The guy that's going to win it, I wouldn't have even had in my top 4 or 5. So right. That's just the way it is this year. It's the West Coast and a lot of the liberals out there are going to get their way with Caleb Williams, and he's had a good year, but I don't think that USC. I know they had bounced back this year and they were a college football playoff contender, but they weren't a conference champion, and I just felt like with the way Caleb Williams played, some people are saying he played well in the game against Utah. I watched it. I didn't think he played that well. And I know it's not just a one-game season, but I just felt like when you look at Hendon Hooker and his impact to Tennessee and how he was able to elevate that program, and what Blake Corum did for Michigan, and then and what Bryce Young did, and everybody, see, the media speaks out of both sides of their mouth. The first thing they say is, well, without Bryce Young, Alabama loses 4 or 5 games, but then they don't even want to vote him in the top 5 of the Heisman vote. Or you got idiots like Dennis Dodd, who probably didn't even put him on his ballot, definitely not in the top 4 because he wouldn't know a football if one passed his earlobe.
So that is how your top 10 voted. Or you're not your top 10 voted. That is how the top 10 votes for the Heisman will pan out this year. Of course, that award will go out tomorrow, and all expected, according to Vegas, Caleb Williams will win the Heisman if Vegas is right. And we usually know the Sharks know something that we don't know. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Drew, yesterday the first team, second team, all freshman team announced in the SEC, and this was as voted by the coaches. Your first team quarterback is Hendon Hooker. Your second team quarterback is Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett. Are you surprised that Bryce Young didn't land on at least first team or second team?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I will say this. Stetson's had a great year. I think this is one of those things where maybe you should have had a second team or something. I am glad the coaches at least had more sense than the idiot media, some of them, and voted Hendon Hooker, first team. If you had left some of these Heisman voters up, if it was up to them, like Dennis Dodd, they probably wouldn't have even voted Hendon Hooker all SEC. They act like Hendon Hooker never played the whole season.
What do you have against Dennis Dodd right now?
I just think he's a clown. I mean, he doesn't like Nick Saban. He doesn't like Alabama. He's like a lot of the media. He looks for reasons to chop them down because he loves the Big Ten and he can't stand the fact that they've stunk so long. And now it's like an early Christmas present. The Big Ten finally gets 2 teams in the college football playoff. Don't get me wrong. I think Ohio State can definitely push Georgia. And I think Michigan's going to beat TCU, but part of me just wishes it would be, Georgia, 50, sucks 3, and then TCU hit kick some walk-off field goal and beat Michigan, and then you got TCU and Georgia and the Little Tens at the Hizzle.
Gone.
Yeah, maybe Dennis Dodd can work out something in Indianapolis where they can play the third-place game, like we do at the Huntsville Times Classic, so he can go cover that.
Well, you put a lot of time into the Huntsville Times Classic. Would you welcome him Classic, in there?
I'm not doing it unless they pay me to do it. But I'd much rather be at the national championship game. Probably if I had my choice, I'd make them play it at the same time. So, 2 dogs and a cat and Dennis would be over there in Indianapolis freezing their ass off. Negative, and it'd be negative 25 degrees. By the way, shout out to Samford playing tonight in the quarterfinals of the 1AA playoffs. They're 6th in the country. Chris Hatcher's had a breakthrough year at Samford, and they are playing at North Dakota State. And it's 10 degrees.
Wow, that is a.
But it's a dome. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord.
Indoors, but that is, of course, North Dakota State out of the Missouri Valley Conference.
Right.
I can claim them out of the Conference of Northern Iowa, but that is a tough place to play.
It's so loud, but at least you're not going to be like losing the feeling in your feet and stuff.
No, that is true. That 1 year in the Division II level, North Alabama made it to the semifinals.
Mark
and they had to play
right?
North Dakota. Yeah, Mark Hudspeth and Will Hall.
Will Hall was Harlan Hill Trophy winner. Yep.
Yeah, Southern Miss now was the quarterback.
And it was a good game, though. I mean, if I remember
it was. And North
yeah.
Alabama had one of their top receivers actually was suspended for that game. Failed a drug test a couple days before that game, and and so he did not play in that semifinal loss. So one of the big pieces to that receiving core was out for that game. I don't think anybody. I knew people were suspended, but I mean, I think the what do they call it when the time passes so long that it doesn't even matter anymore? Statute of limitations. Yeah, I think we can mention that he failed a drug test.
Yeah,
in that one.
I mean,
I think we're
I remember
well beyond that.
I remember watching some of it. I just remember it was a big deal because it's a very tough place to play.
256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And I found a place, Drew, you and I need to take a road trip to. Mm-hmm. And that is in Birmingham, where I found out, someone sent us a picture, they actually make homemade Christmas tree cakes.
Uh-oh.
Yes. They make homemade Christmas tree cakes.
Homemade Christmas tree cakes. Look out.
Yes. And they look fantastic. And I am going to send you a picture of these cakes so that you can see.
Oh, well, you can see today, too. No 2-liter, everybody. I'm sorry to disappoint all the folks. Because, for the last 2 days,
2 liters,
I did
your
Diet
2 liters
Dr.
have
Pepper,
become famous.
Diet Dr. Pepper and then Diet Coke. You know what I'm saying? That's what I had yesterday. Today, I have got this sparkling ice that West Neighbors got me on here. This is grape raspberry is what I've got today. It's very good. Very good.
Let me see. Okay, I see it. I see it. Yes, yes, I see it.
Yeah. So we're doing the 0 sugar water today, so you don't have to worry about comatose or anything like that. So, and wow, they look just like a Christmas tree cake here. How are these?
I told you. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They are homemade Christmas tree cakes. It's a place down in Birmingham. So you and I need to have one of our listeners send us some of those if we can.
Yeah, by the way, and then I had one of my Facebook friends, Angela McClure. She's a noted politician around town, and she was putting this up there. But at Walmart, that's where you get Christmas tree cake ice cream. So
really?
She had tried some of it and said her daughter would probably eat the rest when she got home. So I said, now I messaged her. I said, now where did this come from? We've been talking about this on the show.
Yes,
Christmas tree cakes and now the ice cream have been a big topic. And she said, well, it's at Walmart. She said, but you better hurry. And then she said, it's unbelievable. The Christmas tree cakes themselves, they can't keep them. And I said, well,
no, they can't. We've been
talking about that. I was like, yeah, I said, trust me, we had one of our listeners bring the chocolate ones. Be Rich, we really appreciate that.
Yep.
But I said, we haven't been able to find Christmas tree cakes. And so they've been selling out. It's like crazy. But she got some of the ice cream. So I may go to Walmart and see if I can find Christmas tree cake ice cream. I don't eat a lot of ice cream, but I may have to partake in a little bit of Christmas tree cake ice cream.
All right, Jeff from the Borough with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Well, I guess Mr. DeArmond's glad Will Levis ain't playing, right, Drew?
Well, I mean, I guess somebody thinks they're going to draft him decently high.
Well, they're going to do it. So, I guess there's
crazy.
There's a GM open in Nashville. Would you like to apply? I'm sure they'll take you. Take Mr. Robinson's place. You couldn't do no worse than he can. I can tell you that. You can't do no worse than his draft picks. That Wilson guy, he's pumping gas somewhere. Clown, he's a free agent. He's a clown.
But his draft picks haven't been great, but the team has had great finishes, though, record-wise.
Yeah, whatever. First round loss to Cincinnati when you're a 1 seed.
Yeah.
That's real special. Twice be a 1 seed and lose to a 6. That's real special. Lose to Joe Burrow. So they can stop Joe Burrow, and they can't stop Jeff from Murfreesboro. As simple as that. The Tennessee Titans.
Well, I'm pretty sure they could stop you.
That Amy Adams shrunk, and she couldn't run a lemonade stand. She can't even get out and talk about it. Why she fired the gym, she got to have Vrabel to do it for her. She can't even do it her own self. She went.
My question is, who's going to be left? Who's going to be left to play in the bowl game for Iowa or Kentucky? Because nobody seems to want to play in this game. Everybody is opting out in this bowl game.
I haven't kept up with it. I do know Levis isn't playing, and I'm sure
Rodriguez isn't either. So
Oh, well.
Yeah, Rodriguez isn't playing, and
So
the over-under.
He'll just bookend it. He didn't play the first 4 games, and so he's not playing the last, even though he as good a running back as he is. He runs like a 4.65. I would think he would want to make a positive impression. I'll just say this.
He wants to get ready for the draft.
No, I mean, he'll get drafted, but what I'm saying is he probably needed to go out and be MVP against Iowa and at least, plant his flag in the ground, because his individual workouts aren't going to wow anybody because of his measurables. I mean, and he's not explosive. I think he can play. I think he's going to be a good pro, but he's going to be a dude that goes in the 3rd or the 4th round because he's not going to run an impressive 40.
He scored the winning touchdown last
I'd much rather draft him than Levis. I'll just say that.
He scored the winning touchdown against Iowa last year. Guess you don't want to show up Iowa.
Well, I guess I forgot. So this is the 2nd straight year they played Iowa?
They're playing Iowa.
Yeah, 2nd straight year in the bowl game, yeah.
Well, why would you do something like that? At least make them play somebody different.
Well, I mean, that's what it was either that or the Las Vegas Bowl, and they didn't want to go out there because they weren't focused on recruiting. Everybody to go to Nashville.
I can understand that. They recruit in that area. And they don't really recruit out in Vegas.
Yeah, they don't recruit. That's what the story was.
And plus two, I mean, you think about it, and it is a time. It does cost a lot more the bowl money that you're going to get is okay, but you can go from Kentucky to Nashville a whole lot cheaper than you can go from Kentucky to Las Vegas, and so you can spend a little bit less, recruit a little bit more, and you play in Nashville where, right now, and the time slot for that Music City Bowl is not bad, and so you can be done. It's in, you can have fans travel a whole lot easier to Nashville. Now I know Kentucky has a basketball game that day, and that was a much of big to do. Are they playing basketball and football at the same time? Why are they doing this? Yada yada yada. But still, though, you still can travel to Nashville a whole lot quicker.
I do want
to
ask
Lexington.
Jeff this, because this is another move I didn't understand unless they've got some younger backs that they just like better. Why would Cavassier Smoke leave?
He's got 1 year. He's a graduate. He got 1 year. So.
But he's had a good career, though. I would have thought, maybe next year he'd be a starter or something.
I agree, but he was like third.
Was he really? He fell down the depth chart, huh?
He was down on the dead chart, and now they've got McLean and Wright, who's going to get most of the carries now, and they don't have a running back in this class, so they
interesting.
Somebody. They don't have because one guy he was an in-state guy. He decommitted. It's like the guy that decommitted to Louisville. He decommitted to the 5-star guy.
Reuben Owens, he took the money from Dirt Neck. His career's over.
They got to find somebody. And I want to tell you one final thing. Tennessee, I don't know if y'all have it yet, but Tennessee down here, they had a legislative council meeting yesterday. NILs in Tennessee is real now.
Oh yeah, I saw that where they can pay high school kids in the state. I mean, what are you doing, man?
Well, let me tell you how it works. They can't wear their uniform, and they can't promote their school or the TSSAA.
Right.
That's the only thing they can't do. They can get money. They can't. We've got a kid down here in Rutherford County who's already got 2 NIL deals already. So but that's the deal. They want to get out in front of it. So it's effective now. So if Alabama athletes want to come on Tennessee, come on, get your cash. Come on, we got something for you. Y'all hang in there, guys. See you.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, well, Jeff brings up that point. Tennessee high school athletes can now cash in on name, image, and likeness. They actually join the states of Louisiana and Drew's favorite all-time state right now, California.
I know it's coming, yeah.
as states that have shifted to allow high school athletes to capitalize on name, image, and likeness. Wow. To see high school kids being able to capitalize on this. And according to the Tennessee High School Athletic Association, they say student activities for which they are compensated may not include an image or likeness of the student in a uniform, as Jeff said, or other clothing or gear depicting the name or logo of the school the student is attending or has attended. So, whoop-de-doo. I mean, you can't have the logo of your school, but you can still make money.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's probably going to be something like free Chick-fil-A or chicken fingers or whatever this thing is. And, in the state of California, especially after the garbage we saw yesterday, what they need to do is just make their state, logo a boat anchor. Throw it over to the side and let it sink to the bottom of the ocean.
What happened yesterday? Did I miss something?
I think they had something happen in the WNBA, but nobody watches it, so whatever.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'll quote Blaine Crane of Crane & Company, the brother of Jay Crane. Yeah, that's the first WNBA trade that ever got any national publicity.
Oh, hey! Speaking of that Music City Bowl, I did find this. If if you are making that drive up to Nashville just to watch a bowl game, and I know we are giving away tickets. I know the Czar did.
We are the Czar.
Yeah, the Czar gave away tickets just so that you know. The game will feature 2 offenses outside the top 100 in scoring, 2 top 15 scoring defenses, Iowa's third-string starting quarterback because the number 1 string, or the Spencer Petras is in the transfer portal. The second-string quarterback is hurt, he transferred as well. So they're down to the third-string quarterback. Kentucky's backup quarterback. Kentucky lost their starting running back, and few first-string receivers. The receiving core for both teams is probably.
Yeah, I saw some guys from Iowa went into the portal again.
Yeah, we've probably seen more talented. Thompson probably has more talented wide receivers than what these two have in this game. So the over/under is going to be atrocious in this one. I would take the under, even if it's at 20.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how you sell tickets. That's the problem they're running into with all these opt-outs. And now on top of opt-outs is the portal. And so it's what I was telling people about Alabama. All these cats from Alabama, that are already in the portal. They're not going to the Sugar Bowl. And so now, and then Will Anderson, he had an unbelievable week. He's won the Lombardi Award.
He had a big night last night.
Yeah, he's won the Bednarik Award. And then he won yet another national award. So.
When do you think, though, he and Bryce Young?
Pardon me. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
When do they make up their mind on playing in the bowl game?
I would say I said this yesterday on the drive out at our great sponsor, Bomb. I would say it would have to be within a week because they're about to start preparation, and of course that was the College Football Award show at ESPN last night, and you knew they would ask him about his future, and everybody knows he's leaving. I mean, come on, he's not coming back, even if he gets paid a $3 million NIL deal. I mean, if you're a Rodriguez like at Kentucky, a big-time NIL deal might get you to come back. But when you're a Will Anderson and you're going in the top 5, of course, unless somebody drafts Will Levis or some other idiot ahead of him and ends up flushing their organization down the commode. But more than likely, but I think Will was quoted, and I wanted to read it exactly. He said, "I'm still working out with the team. I still have a conversation to have with Coach Saban, but right now I'm just living in the moment and enjoying the whole process." To me, that means he's gonna eventually opt out. And,
right.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Young does. I've said Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs. But I would think within the next few days, several days, probably a little bit before Christmas, you would find out if they're playing or not because you got to travel with the team to the bowl site. They start practice, on campus, and you'll find out how many of these guys are going to play. And so we'll see. Now, luckily for Alabama, they have some more depth than others. They'd still have the Roydell Williamses of the world, the Jace McClellans, the Jamarian Millers at running back if Jahmyr opts out. With the quarterback situation, I would hope that it would be a split that you would play Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson and get a look at both of them. I hope it's not as bad as about 3 years ago during the COVID year when Florida had half their team opt out. And they played Oklahoma, I want to say, in the Cotton Bowl and got destroyed. And it was just like a spring practice game. Florida didn't hardly have anybody left. But I think Alabama's going to lose a few guys, but hopefully most will still play. And it'll be kind of neat. You'll get a chance to see some younger guys. And then, again, Chris Braswell, Dallas Turner would still be at outside linebacker. No question about that. And then it looks like Jermaine Burton's going to return to school, so I would expect him to play in the game.
How big? I saw that news the other day that Jermaine Burton has decided to come back for another year. How big is that for Alabama? Because the wide receiving corps took a lot of heat this year for underperforming.
Well, it did, and I think the thing is they just weren't explosive. But it's big because he'll have another year under his belt at Alabama, get a chance to go through spring, and hopefully get on the same page with the winner of the Ty Simpson-Milroe battle. Notice what order I put that in. I think that I think
without
I think it'll be Ty Simpson. So, in my opinion, and so you get a chance to get some reps with the QBs. Certainly, Ja'Cory Brooks will be back for his draft year. There are a lot of good young freshmen. There's 4 good signees. Coming in as well. Jaron Hamilton being the latest commitment. And I will say this. I don't know if Alabama's going to go into the portal for a wide receiver. It'd probably only be if it was a cream of the crop guy. And I don't know. But honestly, I like a lot of the young players. The bigger question for me is not the transfer portal for Alabama. It's going to be, the coaching staff. Who's coming back on the staff? Is Holman Wiggins coming back? My gut tells me Holman will be back unless he gets an offensive coordinator's job. We haven't heard his name come up. I wasn't as down on Holman Wiggins as some people. I still think the play calling was a little bit of the issue. And again, Holman can't run the route for him. Holman can't catch it for him, especially Trayshawn Holman. So, you have to be able to catch the football. JoJo Earl had some issues catching it, and he's in the transfer portal. So again, and then and they won't miss JoJo either because they've got some younger receivers that can step up. The interesting part is if Branch opts out, what are they going to do at the star spot? They could put Malachi Moore over there. I think a guy like Christian Story could get some playing time. So that's what's going to be the next thing to follow, though, is Alabama's opt-outs and who doesn't play in the Sugar Bowl.
All right, let's get that break in real fast. Got to get that break in. When we come back, we'll continue that conversation, plus get to your phone calls, 256-576-4977 on its Friday edition of Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We picked up a wreck on 72 at Old Gurley Road. They paged it out with possible injury and possible entrapment. They've canceled HIMSY and rescue on it. 231 in Walker Lane had a trooper on the scene there. They should be about ready to wrap that one up. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise on a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
Are you looking for that right heating and air company to keep those winter blues away? Look no further than Talent Heating and Air. Thomas with us this morning. Thomas, locally owned, no better way to go.
That's right. We're based in Huntsville, so you're going to get timely service. Normally, we can get to you within that day that you called.
And that number is?
It is 256-503-4490.
And you have special treats for our 97.7 ESPN The Zone listeners.
That's right. For all the listeners that mention this ad, they can get $1,000 off a unit replacement if they call in by the end of the year.
And that number again to call?
256-503-4490.
And 97.7 ESPN The Zone is also happy to announce that we have teamed up with Talent Heating and Air for our December 14th holiday Christmas party benefiting the Toys for Tots. Glad to have you guys aboard.
Yeah, that's right. When y'all talked to us about it, it was a no-brainer for us to get involved with the community and help out kids with the holidays.
All right, it's Talent Heating and Air, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. helping kids this year with our toy drive benefiting Toys for Tots.
The season is here. It's Woody Anderson Ford's 2022 year-end sales event, and we've got the best selection we've had in a long time. Nearly 400 vehicles to choose from and over 130 F-150s. We bet you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And while interest rates continue to climb, at Woody Anderson Ford today, you can lock in 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on a wide selection of our new Fords. As low as 2.9% for 72 months on 22 models of F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Escape, and Edge. Plus, get an additional $1,500 in bonus cash on 22 Edges. Offer ends December 31st. Or if a nearly new Ford fits you better, you can trade in and trade up on a Ford Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you take them home with a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Come on in for our 2022 year-end sales event. Woody Anderson Ford. Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
Sports medicine. I know when you hear that, you think athletes. It's more than that. And the doctors from TOC Sports know that. That's why they've seen the need and met it. Needs like partnering with more area high schools to provide coverage from sports medicine certified orthopedic physicians and keeping thousands of kids in the game. But also being there for those unexpected bumps and bruises or when that bad knee finally gives out. TOC Sports is a specialty group of 6 orthopedic physicians dedicated to making sure you keep pace in your active life. Those 6 names, Doctors Michael Cantrell, Brian Carter, Stan Davis, John Greco, James Huey, and Larry Parker. From top to bottom, the physicians of TOC Sports have you covered for any orthopedic need. Hey, you have your choices in doctors or how far you want to drive to see one. There's no need for that. Trust the doctors who care for Huntsville and Madison City schools, Havoc Hockey, Alabama A&M, and numerous other programs. But trust them because they're committed to making you feel better. Call TOC Sports today, 256-539-2728, or check them out at visittoc.com on Facebook and Twitter.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, indeed. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN Zone, 7:35 on this Friday morning. We invite you again to head out to Flow Indoor Trampoline Park on Wednesday, December 14th for our 97.7 ESPN The Zone Christmas party for you, the listeners. We're giving back. We want you to give as well. Your price for admission is just a toy from 4 to 8 into Flow Indoor Trampoline Park. All you got to do is bring your family, bring your friends. Each of you bring a toy. You can come into Flow, help us fill the Rambo Marine boat, thanks to our presenting sponsor, Talent Heating and Air, for making this happen. It's going to be a fun night. Bubby's Diner, going to have food on hand, so get on out there Wednesday, December 14th. Let's go out to the phone lines. Brian with us on a Friday morning. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good, Brian. How are you?
Good. So I'm a Kentucky fan. Called in a couple of times over the last couple of years. I'm kind of intrigued about the Music City Bowl, and the big reason is because now you've got a chance to see who the next guy up might be if they don't bring in a guy in the portal at quarterback.
Right.
Kentucky also has two very dynamic freshman wide receivers.
They do.
That could be fun to watch, especially for somebody who doesn't live in the Lexington area, can't get a lot of home games, to go up to Nashville. So, without the quarterback play, you don't know how good the receivers can be. But anyway, I just thought I would chime in there. I'm actually considering going because it's so close. So.
Well, Brian, for the listeners, obviously you're a big fan. If you're still there with us, who likely will be the QB? I'll be the blunt. I haven't been following the opt-outs. I did see where it was announced Levis wasn't going to play, and I wasn't shocked by that. Plus he needs to heal up, but who is likely?
Yeah.
I know they fired Sangarello, so somebody else on the football team on the staff is going to be calling plays. I don't think they've hired their OC yet anyway, but what's the outlook as far as who's going to play QB against Iowa?
Yeah, so earlier in the season, Levis was out for the South Carolina game.
That's right.
And Kaya Sharon played. He's a Kentucky kid. He played and did okay, but they lost, not necessarily because of him. They just didn't play well. There's also a 4-star freshman from Tennessee. His last name is Wade.
Yeah.
He hasn't played at all. He's supposed to be kind of a dual threat. So like I said, if one of those guys is the next guy, it's our first glimpse at who that could be, So.
Yeah, because they've got Dane Key and Barry Brown. I love Barry Brown.
Those two guys are
Destin
really
Wade.
Yeah, Destin Wade, that's it.
Yeah.
He's got the brother on
Destin
the team,
Wade
I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaya Sharon is also there, and this would be ironic, though, Drew. They have a third-year sophomore, Deuce Hogan, on the roster, and he actually is a former Iowa quarterback.
Uh-oh.
But, yeah, we played Iowa
so,
in the game last year, and he transferred after the game, so around that time.
Yeah, well, I would transfer out of Iowa's offense as well because it's pretty bad.
The buzz on the offensive coordinator is that they were hoping to try to get Liam Cohen back, who was there.
I heard that, right.
I mean, that would be kind of cool if he can get his magic back because he lost it in L.A. this year.
Well, he had to. They took Baker off the street and he beat the Raiders. That shows you the NFL right there. Baker, came off the plane and ended up starting the game. It's his third team already. Doesn't take long in the NFL. To go from the first overall pick, and 3 years ago I think he won a playoff game, and now he's with his third team because he did not play well for Carolina. But again, that's just the NFL for you. But yeah, Baker threw a late touchdown pass to Van Jefferson, who ironically started out at Ole Miss and finished at Florida.
Yep. You guys have a good day and have a good Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
All right,
thanks.
Brian.
All right.
Yeah. Gino Giudicelli, the offensive coordinator at Cincinnati, the past season is a candidate. Yes. He's on the list apparently for the Kentucky OC job as well. There may be some timing issues with the NFL season where Liam Cohen might not be able to get back into Kentucky as easy as they might think.
Well,
so,
the Rams' season is in the crapper. They ought to just let him leave. Of course, there's probably legalities with the contract, but good Lord, it's not like they're any good. That was a horrible loss for the Raiders last night.
To have Baker Mayfield beat you, that's a horrible loss.
Oh Lord. Hey, don't tell Lincoln Sharman that though, because he doesn't want to hear that. Lincoln Sharman's about to have his next quarterback, win the Heisman Trophy and tell everybody that they won the first quarter against Utah and then lost the last three.
So do you give Lincoln Sharman credit, though, for what he did with Jalen Hurts?
A little bit. I think he's good with quarterbacks. Okay, you have to give them credit for. I mean, they've won a bunch of Heismans, and for the most part, they've been pretty decent pros. You know what I'm saying? But I think overall though his teams are soft, and that's why they don't finish and they don't win. The national titles, and then they haven't won championships in the NFL. But I will say they've been a little better than Dirt Neck's quarterbacks, who usually don't even get a second contract. So but again,
hey, speaking of Dirt Neck, though, he got
the nation's
top running back.
Yeah, we already kind of talked about that. Reuben Owens. He took the money from Louisville and was committed, and then he turned around and took more money from Texas A&M. So neither team was very good this year.
Oh, yes, they got so they paid a lot of money to get almost $9.4 million for last year's signing class.
Yeah, I know. And
according to the Athletic, there's an article in the Athletic.
How much is that? $9.5 million. Divide that by 5. That's how much it costs per win.
Okay, so if we did 9.5 and we divided it by 5, it's probably, it comes out to 1.9. Is that right? 1.9 million. That would not be right. 1.9 million per win. That would not be right. I don't think. No, that can't be right. Anyway, well, it's pretty expensive. We'll just say that.
I'll just say that.
We'll just round it up. We'll just round it up to 10 million.
Okay, 9.5 million here. I'm dividing it by 5. Now, Scott, you're right. It's $1.9 million per win, man. Think about it. They only won 5. I mean,
that's right. Right.
So it's their boosters paid $2 million for a bunch of clowns per game, and they won 5 games. So
$1.9 million.
Yeah, and so they lost Anthony Hill, the linebacker, who's probably going to end up at Texas, but they gained Reuben Owens, and so good for them.
All right. 256-576-4977. It's 7:45. Let's get a break in. When we come back, I'm going to wrap up hour 1. Talk a little college basketball. Get you ready for what will be a busy weekend for both Auburn and Alabama on the hardwood.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Our newest accident was Lowry and Clinton, reported with injury and possible entrapment. It looks like they canceled Rescue and Himsey. Had one at 72 and Old Gurley Road that was reported with injury. They canceled Himsey on that one. Got one at Research Park and University on the southbound side. I don't think it's in traffic, though. Got one in Decatur, 6th Avenue and 8th Street, and 231 in Walker Lane should be about wrapped up. Have you tried numerous weight loss plans and nothing seems to work? Your hormones could be the problem. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Welcome back. Stan McDonald from the Stanton Law Firm. I had lunch with Lewis just recently and with a client of ours, a mutual client, and great to hear all the good things going on at the Stanton Law Firm.
Thank you, Wes. The Stanton Law Firm, as you know, we've discussed before, we're dirt lawyers. We do a lot of real estate, litigation and closing. And yes, my son Lewis McDonald enjoyed meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of your friends. He is, as you know, he's opened up a commercial closing division. So he's really helping a lot of people people who are trying to close, buy, or sell on their commercial property. And you can't be in this community doing business without knowing West neighbors.
I don't know about that, but it sure was getting to meet another McDonald and talking a little bit about his grandfather, Coach Dye, and the different things. It was a lot of fun.
Well, your listeners are really going to enjoy meeting Lewis and you in this community. And like I said, at Jacob Title or the Stanton Law Firm, we close business. We close some good commercial closings, residential closings. We appreciate being part of your show.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Orthopedics. You're thinking bones, muscles, and joints, right? Well, what else comes to mind? Maybe your spine, therapy, or an arm cast? What about sports medicine? What do you think about when you hear that? Are you thinking about the largest orthopedic group in the state, caring for the most student athletes in North Alabama? Or about the fact that they are teamed up with the state's largest hospital-based sports medicine program to provide care to more schools in North Alabama than any other group? If you are, you have TOC Sports and Huntsville Hospital Sports Center on the brain. If you're not, you should, because Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports have partnered for more than 2 decades to establish a state-of-the-art team of certified athletic trainers and orthopedic specialists who successfully continue to meet and exceed the sports medicine needs of schools, athletes, coaches, and parents in our community. That's why we're thrilled to return as presenting sponsors of the Huntsville City Classic Basketball Tournament, which you can hear right here on 97.7 The Zone. Committing to kids, committing to community, committing to care. That's Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
From the Nick Saban Show.
We talk about finishing. That's like the number one word.
To Alabama football.
Touchdown, Alabama!
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone on a Friday morning. Coming up tonight right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, the UAH Chargers will take on Delta State. And then that leads into what is going to be a fun and fantastic Saturday of college football. Now, we do have football, or basketball, I should say. We do have football tomorrow,
too.
Drew.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do have football tomorrow. Now, you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh, my goodness, where's my SEC football? It's that first weekend. We do not have SEC football. Last week we had the SEC championship, but you're going to get to wake up tomorrow afternoon, and you do have the game. I'm sorry, Big Ten fans, Michigan and Ohio State, great, that is a game. But tomorrow you have truly the game, and that is the Army-Navy game, which you can hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yeah, you can. It's one of the top rivalries in all of collegiate sports. In college football, I'd say it's in the top 3 with Alabama, Auburn, Michigan and the Suckeyes, and then Army-Navy. I think that's probably your top 3 right there. And I know neither team has had the year they wanted, but it's still, there's so much pageantry, so much anticipation. And last year, Army had a heck of a year. and yet Navy kind of ruined it and upset them. So you never know in this game. It's the Army-Navy game. It's a standalone kind of situation. You can make your season, and so it'll be here on the Blitz. I believe the kickoff is a little after 2:00 Central Time.
And you know what? This one is for pride because neither team can go to a bowl game, and the Commander-in-Chief trophy this year went to Air Force. So this game here really is they are just playing it out to see who can win on Saturday. And college basketball-wise, what a weekend it is for college basketball. Auburn will travel to Atlanta, Georgia to take on Memphis and Penny Hardaway, who sometimes can coach and sometimes cannot coach. And then you have Alabama on the road taking on Houston in a top 10 showdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. I mean, there's going to be a lot of good basketball coming up in the next few days, especially if you love the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We are the home. Now we're going to talk to Brian Pasek about this later in the show. It's going to be at 8:25. We're going to talk to him about this game Scott's talking about, and it'll be at the same time as Army-Navy now. But see, what you can do is you can sit in your house and you can watch ABC and watch Alabama, or you can, if you even want to. I don't know how you pull this off, Scott. I guess you could try to listen to dueling radio broadcasts. Like you could pull the Army-Navy game up on the Blitz, and then pull up the Crimson Tide Sports Network on 97.7. Or you could try to watch maybe the Army-Navy game on CBS and then listen to Alabama. Or listen to Army-Navy on the Blitz and then watch Alabama on ABC. I don't know. There's some combination of that. I can never say it again that fast. But I'm just saying.
Come on, try. If you had a 2-liter, if you had a 2-liter of Diet Coke,
there's no caffeine in this stuff. Okay, it's just it's sparkling water, Scott.
I'm not talking about what you're having now. I'm saying on Tuesday, the Dr. Pepper was not caffeine free. So if you had that again, you could.
No.
But yeah,
and I had a Christmas tree cake too. But
some combination. Look, if you just download our app, if you download the Blitz Sports Radio app and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app, it takes care of 2 of the 3 things right there. Because you can have Alabama on your phone, you can have the Army-Navy game on your tablet, and you can watch whatever you want to watch on TV.
There you go.
See?
You can pull it off. Now, it'd make my head hurt if I was listening to 2 different radio broadcasts from the standpoint of trying to keep it straight. Like, what's the score of each game? But, hey, try it, man. There you go. And you can even put it on Facebook Live and let people watch you try to figure this thing out. But, yeah, we're going to have – but what Scott's saying is, though, download our 97.7 The Zone app if you haven't. But we've had thousands of people do that. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And download the Blitz Sports Radio app. We are going to have full coverage of both Alabama basketball and Army-Navy, and we're the only radio station in an entity in the area that's going to be doing that.
Yeah, and so don't forget Houston, obviously. Bobby Champagne.
Oh, there's another local tie. That's
still
right.
there. Yeah, Bobby Champagne still on that staff there for Calvin Sampson in Houston. So it'll be a fun day for basketball there.
I mean, it's obviously Alabama's played a tough schedule. We've talked about that this week, Scott. But
they have.
This is going to be their biggest test. I mean, Houston's #1 in the country, I believe, in the AP poll, and they're very, very good. There's so many polls now, but they're a consensus top 2 to 3 team in the country. And some have them. I know you said this earlier a while back on the show. I think they're in Vegas. They're the favorite to win the national championship, and Alabama's having to go over there. And it was a absolute war in Tuscaloosa last year that Alabama finally won late. And so now we'll see what happens on the road. But this is going to be a huge test for this Alabama team that, for the most part, is still very young and still coming together.
They are. And Houston is a type of team that this will be a good challenge for Alabama. And then they follow that up, Drew, with Gonzaga So
don't forget they got Memphis on Tuesday. They'll have Memphis on the 13th, and then Gonzaga the coming Saturday. So Alabama's got 3 tough games in a row. And 2 of them within the state of Alabama. The Memphis game with Penny Hardaway. Alabama took an L last year in Memphis, but Penny Hardaway's group 7-2. They're coming to Tuscaloosa on Tuesday, the 13th, and then Alabama will take on Gonzaga a week from tomorrow, and that will be in Birmingham. And very few tickets left. I know a friend of mine just picked some up yesterday, and I think they're $34 or so. But it's going to be
Memphis game?
No, this is for Gonzaga in Birmingham.
Oh, I thought it was sold out.
No, well, I thought it was too, but I think there was some, and this is some secondary market tickets too. But I think he told me there's also a very few like upper level tickets in the upper deck, but again, I'll just say this: by the time the game is slated to take place, it's going to be sold out. I don't think there'll be a ticket left, and it's going to be packed because it's Gonzaga. Gonzaga's taking a couple losses early. But they're still going to be a really good team. Mark Few's coming all the way across the country. This was a great game last year that Alabama won, and it'll be great to be back in front of the fans in Birmingham for all those Alabama fans. And it should be, in Legacy Arena, 12,000 seats. It should be a heck of a matchup.
All right. So we are just about done with hour 1 of Talkin' Ball. And yesterday we talked about the fact that Marvin Stone was going into the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame. Marvin Stone obviously played at Grissom, played at Kentucky, played at Louisville. No stranger to the basketball world, the late Marvin Stone, I should say. But there was also the Marvin Stone Classic that COVID took away. COVID took the Marvin Stone Classic away. It is back in the same form it was before. I don't know. We'll let Scott Stapler let us know when we return for hour 2 of Talkin' Ball.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in Morgan County. This one's going to be I-65, about the 340. That's somewhere close to River Bridge. That one reported with injuries. Lowry and Clinton reported with injury and entrapment, but they canceled everybody on it. Research Park and University on the southbound side should be off the side of the road. 6th Avenue and 8th Street indicators should be gone to a parking lot. 72 and Old Gurley Road may still be waiting on a report. Snelling needs a property manager with QuickBooks experience. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Another opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of the afternoon, but I am confident that some of us are probably going to end up staying dry. At this point, the bigger story seems to be the warmer air across the Tennessee Valley. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, well above where we should be this time of year. Only dropping into the upper 40s and lower 50s as we head into the overnight early into Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN.
ESPN The Zone.
Tomorrow, it's the 123rd edition of the Army-Navy game, the 89th time the teams will face each other in Philadelphia. Navy a 2-point favorite as of Thursday, the over-under at 43.5. The midshipmen have won 2 out of the last 3 after the Black Knights had enjoyed a 3-game winning streak, which followed Navy winning 14 in a row. UFC 282 Saturday from Vegas, the main event, the light heavyweight championship between the underdog Jan Blachowicz at plus 240 and Magomed Ankalaev at minus 300. The match 7 taking place Saturday under the lights to raise money for Hurricane Ian relief efforts. Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, the minus 125 favorites to win. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy at plus 105. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you, hanging out on a Friday morning. Yesterday we talked right out of the show about the class, the newest class for the 2023 Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame, and among that class is the late Marvin Stone. Prepped at Grissom, played at Kentucky, played at Louisville, played overseas. We lost him way too soon. And the Marvin Stone Classic got off the ground, and it was running off and well, Drew. Great day of basketball. It was just a great day to celebrate Marvin Stone, honor his legacy, and play a little basketball over at UAH, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, and it's been gone for a couple of years now. We didn't have it, in the 2020 year or last season, but now it's returning, not in its full form, but we hope this is the start of that. Certainly, yep. and it's a great timing to have it back when Marvin Stone gets elected to the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame, which you MC each and every year. Scott's a big part of that. And speaking of someone that's a big part of the Marvin Stone Classic, he is now over Parks and Recreation in the city of Huntsville, but he's also still a huge part in organizing this event. It will once again be at Spraggins Hall this Saturday over at UAH. And Scott Stapler is going to join us and talk about this Marvin Stone Classic. Coach, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Drew. Good morning, Scott. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Good to hear y'all talking about basketball. I enjoy when basketball season rolls around.
No question.
Well, some people hearing this don't think it rolls around until December or January, but it is actually off and running, both college and high school at a high level.
It is, yeah. We got some really good teams, obviously, in the state, college-wise. Good matchups coming up this weekend. I was listening earlier and talking about those games. And then I think, as always, some terrific high school teams. And so excited, to kind of get in the thick of things. And just excited to be on the radio with you guys this morning and talk about the Marvin Stone Classic. Y'all mentioned, I don't know what the right word, maybe we should say we suspended it for a couple of years.
Right.
Due to COVID.
Postponed,
protocol.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Never wanted it to go away. And so this year we're bringing it back, and we're kind of tiptoeing it back. I think, typically we'd like to have 6 games in there, but we're doing 3 games this Saturday at Spraggins Hall. And just kind of be a good way to get it back on the scene. And then I think starting next season, we'll kind of be back into full force. A couple things have changed. I don't know if you guys remember, but previously we always did it on Martin Luther King holiday, that Monday.
Yeah,
that's right.
In January. And when we had started it up, my dad, had this idea was When I was coaching in college, we used to have a bracket busters ESPN put together. I don't know if you guys remember that, where they would
we remember
bring
that.
teams from different conferences together and wouldn't really tell you who you were playing until 2 weeks before. And we went through that a few times when I was coaching in college, and it's kind of hectic, but it's also kind of fun. It kind of gives you a little tournament feel. So we did it that way, and then it kind of got to the point, to be honest with you, late in the season like that, there were a lot of people that kind of agreed to play it in January. Well, then as the season kind of got going, when it got to that date, they may not have wanted to play, as tough of a team for whatever reason. Maybe they had injuries, or they're just trying to get ready for the area tournament. But that's really just 2 weeks away from the area tournaments now in the AHSAA. So we found a better date on a Saturday, and Cade Smith and Coach Schulman were good enough to help us work out to get in the Spraggins Hall tomorrow on a Saturday, and I think that's going to be a really good landing spot for the Marvin Stone Classic going forward.
How important to you and to your father to get this back in whatever form it is, whether it be just 3 games, whether it be, however it is, when it is, how important was it to bring it back?
It's something that I know we've talked about before on the program, and I know my dad will get to talk the next hour or two on one of the shows. But I think it's really important from the standpoint that to tell the story. The way things are with social media now, and there's so much hype around basketball and athletes or whatever sport it might be, we tend to forget, as we all get a little bit older, about how great the players were that came before. And so when he and I were talking about doing this, we thought it was really important. Again, maybe I'm a little bit biased. I think he's the best high school player for sure to come through this area, but I think the way he dominated the game, I think he's the best to come through the state. And just to keep his name out there and let people remember how good he was as a player, something like this, I think, is really important to have.
Yeah, he was, Coach, and this was a kid that was probably a top 5 player in the country, even when he was coming out of middle school. We know he spent his freshman year at Johnson before transferring to play out the rest of his career for your father. Certainly, he helped Grissom win a state title in 1999 in his senior year. But people don't need to forget how skilled the guy was. He was somebody that, as a big man, could handle the basketball. He could pass out of a high post. He could shoot the 3 out up top. He was kind of a stretch 5 before there was one. Certainly, he could finish inside. But what I remember most about Marvin is just his gentle demeanor. He wasn't a me kind of guy. He was a team player. People seemed to kind of flock to him. He was a gentle giant, but in a positive way. He wasn't a self-promoting kind of guy, even as high a profile as he had. He was a McDonald's All-American. And again, Kentucky was under Coach Tubby Smith at the time and transitioned from Rick Pitino. You don't see many players go from Kentucky to Louisville to show you how good he was and how high of an opinion there was of him when he came out of high school.
You don't, and that's such a great point. He was the runner-up Naismith National Player of the Year. That's how good he was coming out of high school. Of course, he could have gone anywhere. My dad can tell you stories. It was just North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, every day coming through there to see him play, and he would rather deflect praise to the other guys on the team, and that's why he was such a good teammate. I think as a player, unfortunately, he was ahead of his time. The way he played, I don't think he was that good, but he's more like a Jokic and those kind of guys, kind of like you're saying.
That's a great point. That's
he
exact
can handle the
point.
ball.
Yep.
As dominant as he was, I think the best thing he might have done was pass. He was an incredible passer.
Totally.
and got more satisfaction out of making a great pass to somebody than he did, doing post up and going to dunk on somebody. He was the guys we see now, the European centers that come over, the skilled centers. That was him. And back, like you said, back at a time, unfortunately, where it was just kind of put a big guy down on the block. Nobody was stepping guys out on the floor, like they do now, and creating mismatches. And so, he just, I think had he, been, come years later, he would have been a guy that we'd be seeing, play right now, and would be, might have a 10-year career in the NBA, because he just, was so skilled and so smart.
He had a very high basketball IQ, and it was a perfect storm to play for your father, because your father developed Brooks Bryant, who went on to play, at East Carolina, and then, of course, at Northwest Louisiana for Dan Bell. But and then you look at Northwestern State. Pardon me there. And then, of course, with Marvin, Ronnie was such a great teacher of bigs, and still is to this day. So fundamental. And so with Marvin's cerebral approach to the game, Marvin was a good athlete, but he wasn't Antonio McDyess, but he was very, very smart, very, very skilled, and I just thought it was the perfect marriage between player and coach.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's coached a lot of good players, and he's developed a lot of good players, but there's certainly his forte is developing big guys. And, Marvin obviously is the best of all of them to come through, but he's just kind of a combination of all of them too. He could score with both hands in the paint. He could pass it. He even got to the point to where he could step out, and make threes. Now, he didn't get to shoot a lot of them because he was so dominant in the paint, but he could do that. I remember going to see them play. Of course, it was like a circus. Every time they played home on the road, it was just packed. You couldn't get in there. And he'd let Marvin bring it up the court sometimes and run something. Marvin might dribble out somebody and throw a back cut pass. And, again, I think anytime just to bring his name back up on the local scene, and the people like us that saw him play, talk about how great he was. And I talked to my son and my kids and the kids his age, and unfortunately there's not much video out there, but just to try to tell them how good this guy was. It's neat to continue to hear his name back up there, and I was really excited, for his mother and extended family that he got into the Hall of Fame, which I think first time he was eligible age-wise, and Coach Patterson, something that was obviously a consensus pick there. So that's nice, a really nice award here locally that he'll get this spring.
It really will, and it's a great class, and Scott went over it the other day. I mean, it's star-studded. Scott, I mean, I know you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, but it's probably as good a class, Scott, as they've had in a long time.
Olympic gold medalists. I mean, you look at who's all going, or not gold medalists, Olympic medalists, world record holders. Marvin Stone is going to be. I mean, this class is phenomenal going into the Huntsville-Madison County Hall of Fame. And Marvin Stone just adds to his name. And you look at all the basketball talent that's already in that Hall of Fame from our area, and you add Marvin Stone to it. It is hard to argue that Huntsville and Madison County, I mean, is hoop central because of all the names that are already in that Hall of Fame, Coach.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talk about guys that came before we came through that were great players, before the 3-point line and things like that. It's just it's a long line, a legacy of great players in North Alabama and fantastic coaches as well.
Yeah, really a lot of great coaches. And speaking of that, Coach, we know, as you said, this year's field is only going to be 3 games, but you're showcasing 4 really, really good ladies teams in this year's event, and you're 2 of the better teams, the boys teams in our area as well. 2 teams that have a chance at the Huntsville City Classic coming up, and 2 teams that we expect to have the potential to make deep postseason runs.
Yeah, we always tried to include, girls teams and guys teams, and the biggest thing, we want to have good teams to come play in it.
Right.
And so this year it really worked out good. The first game at 3:30 is St. John Paul against Lee. St. John Paul, I think, is off to the best start in school history, if I'm not mistaken. They're 8 or 9-0, I believe, right now. And they're having a great year. Kyle Overstreet, the coach there, has really done a great job building that program. He's a terrific coach, young coach. He does a terrific job. They've got a 7th grader named Ella Watts, who's having a great year, and it's kind of come on and bolster, their roster. Ashlyn Plott will be a college player. Hope Harrell and another player, Ryan Holloway. I think they probably have 4 players on their team. This is a 4A school that are going to be college basketball players at some level. And, besides Ashland, they're really young. So they're going to be fun to watch. They're super well coached. And then, of course, Lee here in Huntsville, Coach Silas, coming off a runner-up in the championship last year.
Yeah.
Built a fantastic program there at Lee, and they don't they said they don't rebuild, they just reload. they're really fun to watch. Very well coached. The second game we got Bob Jones's girls against Trinity Presbyterian out of Montgomery, and obviously you guys follow. For those that don't, Bob Jones, the girls program there has really gotten. Coach Power, Jasmine Powers, has done a great job building that program up. She's kind of got a big 3. And Good, Smith, and Bone, those 3 girls are really good players and skilled. And then Trinity, coming out of Montgomery, was Final Four team last year in 3A basketball. Blake Smith is the coach there. He's got really kind of a four-headed monster, 4 really good players led by Emma Kate Smith. And so they're making the trip up from Montgomery. That's the matchups I like to see are those kind of out-of-class matchups where you wouldn't necessarily see that probably at any other time. That's a 3A against a 7A, and that'll be a heck of a basketball game tomorrow at 5. And then the final game tomorrow, we have Huntsville High and Bob Jones boys. And like you're saying, I think both of those teams are for sure probably top 6 or 8 in the state. In 7A, they're in different regions, which is great. I'd love to see both of those guys have a chance to get to Birmingham. But Coach Tiggs at Bob Jones is one of the best coaches to come through North Alabama. He's, I think, 30-plus years as a head coach. Does a terrific job, well-coached team, good defensively. And then Huntsville High, Coach Schweers, I think, is in his 5th or 6th season there. And has just done a great job, taking Huntsville High's program to places it hasn't been before. They've got led by Jamari Arnold, signed with North Georgia, just an electric guard who can do everything, and then a lot of good young players coming in behind him. So that'll be a great way to finish it off. And again, I expect to have 3 really good games tomorrow, and kind of a good way to bring this thing back and again, just honor Marvin.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it because Huntsville and Bob Jones had played twice this summer over in Tuscaloosa, and then in the finals of Huntsville's tournament. They were both great games. And now the stakes are even higher in the Marvin Stone Classic, Year 5 for Christian Schweers, as you talked about, the great career for Luther Tiggs, who has done everything in coaching but bring home that blue trophy. And I know he'd like to do that before his career is over. And he's meant so much to the fabric of basketball here. He started the James Clemens program. So He did a great job at Sparkman, had some very good teams, won one of the great classic finals in history against a Madison Academy team that went on to win a state championship. And as much as I love Andy Blackson, and I always will, that's the greatest Madison Academy team ever. They were talented in 05 that won it all, 05, 06. They beat Sumter County, my good friend Pete Miller's alma mater, badly in the finals, and didn't have all their players. They did not have the two Doggett brothers who were Seventh-day Adventists, and they still won by 25 points. Just to tell you how good that Madison Academy team was. That was a loaded team, and they lost at the buzzer to J.R. Strobridge and those guys, and Cedric Austin, all those guys that were such great players for Luther Tiggs for the Sparkman Senators, no doubt. But it's great to reminisce. And hey, I'm going to be remiss if I didn't. Everybody that's been in this community, Scott, that grew up here. Now you came along around the time that Marvin was finishing up.
Yeah, I got here in '99, so it was right at the end.
Right at the end. But if you have been here and then you know what I'm referring to. We love Tree. There you go. Then you are a basketball aficionado in our area. If you just hear someone say, we will always remember Tree. There you go.
Yeah, no doubt. So I want to commend these coaches, for coming and playing, against tough teams and good matchups. I think they all 6 of these coaches understand to take the kind of the long view. The great thing about basketball is
tournament
you
sport.
Want to continue to keep getting better. You don't want to peak right now in November or December. You want to peak, tournament time. And so I commend these coaches, again, all 6 of them, for coming to play a good game. It should be a great day of basketball tomorrow. I hope people will come out and support it and see the game. It's admission's $10 at the gate, and it's an all-day pass for all 3 games. So should be a really good day. And I really appreciate you guys having us on and helping us promote this and just talk about Marvin.
Well, we appreciate you for taking the time, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay, y'all have a good weekend. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Enjoy the show.
All right, Scott Stapler there with us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And, Drew, we kind of have a little bit, I'm going to call it breaking news.
Oh, here we go. Scott.
I'm going to call it breaking news this morning. I am. And it's big news. This is according to Pete Thamel. Okay. And if Pete Thamel has it, it's going to almost happen. This involves North Alabama football. The remaining football members of the Atlantic Sun and the WAC have agreed to align, Drew, to form the foundation of a 10-member football-only conference with the intention of becoming the 11th Football Bowl Subdivision Conference. It's going to be Stephen F. Austin, Abilene Christian, Utah Tech, Southern Utah, Tarleton State, Austin P, Eastern Kentucky, Central Arkansas, and North Alabama. So it appears that North Alabama will be making the move to the FBS football level here very soon. He says, according in the article, their possible move is at the earliest practicable date.
Well, that's very interesting. I mean, the fundraising, that's what you got to do, folks.
Going from the FCS. Going from the FCS level to the FBS level, it does appear that North Alabama football is headed to the bowl subdivision. Because remember, Jacksonville State is making that move to Conference USA.
Yep.
Yeah, this is going to be just a football-only conference. It would be the 11th football conference in the FBS level, but it does involve North Alabama making that move to a bigger level. So we'll just keep you up to date on that as it goes along. We do got to get a break in because when we come back, Brian Pasick will join us as we look to Alabama and Houston coming up tomorrow right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on I-65 in Morgan County. That one 340. That's near the Tennessee River Bridge. Single vehicle off the road, may have an injury involved. Lowry and Clinton reported with injuries, but they canceled Himsey on it. And Research Park and University reports where the vehicle spun around the wrong way. HPD's trying to get that all untangled. Routine care to heart failure. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
Orthopedics. You're thinking bones, muscles, and joints, right? Well, what else comes to mind? Maybe your spine, therapy, or an arm cast? What about sports medicine? What do you think about when you hear that? Are you thinking about the largest orthopedic group in the state, caring for the most student athletes in North Alabama? Or about the fact that they are teamed up with the state's largest hospital-based sports medicine program to provide care to more schools in North Alabama than any other group? If you are, you have TOC Sports and Huntsville Hospital Sports Center on the brain. If you're not, you should, because Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports have partnered for more than 2 decades to establish a state-of-the-art team of certified athletic trainers and orthopedic specialists who successfully continue to meet and exceed the sports medicine needs of schools, athletes, coaches, and parents in our community. That's why we're thrilled to return as presenting sponsors of the Huntsville City Classic Basketball Tournament, which you can hear right here on 97.7 The Zone. Committing to kids, committing to community, committing to care. That's Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports.
YKTA wants you to join their team. YKTA is currently adding machine maintenance and die maintenance positions to their fast-growing company. YKTA has new improved work schedules with built-in days off. Pay range is $25 to $33 based on experience and additional shift differential. And YKTA has opportunities for increased pay above top range through advanced skills training. Apply today at yktal.com/careers. YKTA is an equal opportunity employer.
We love our pets, and when we need boarding or vet services, we want the best. That's why we chose Paradise Pet Resort and Spa. Everything our pets needed, all in one place. Boarding for both dogs and cats. Doggy daycare, grooming and spa services, web cameras, and top-notch vet care, too. It's a true Paradise Pet Resort for your furry friends, serving all of North Alabama. Find out everything you need to know and book services online at ParadisePetResortandSpa.com. Located in Madison, just off 565 at Wall Triana, behind Cracker Barrel.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
The season is here. It's Woody Anderson Ford's 2022 year-end sales event, and we've got the best selection we've had in a long time. Nearly 400 vehicles to choose from and over 130 F-150s. We bet you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And while interest rates continue to climb, at Woody Anderson Ford today, you can lock in 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on a wide selection of our new Fords. As low as 2.9% for 72 months on 22 models of F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Escape, and Edge. Plus, get an additional $1,500 in bonus cash on 22 Edges. Offer ends December 31st. Or if a nearly new Ford fits you better, you can trade in and trade up on a Ford Gold Certified or Blue Lulu certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you take them home with a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Come on in for our 2022 year-end sales event. Woody Anderson Ford. Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Our final interview of the week. Going to help us break down a top 10 matchup that you can hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone coming up tomorrow. That is Alabama and Houston facing off against each other in an exciting college basketball game. And we kind of alluded to it yesterday that Kelvin Sampson said, hey, look, you may lose a game here or there during these games or during this stretch of the season, but you play these games to find out about your team. You face these opponents so that you can get better with the eyes on March, and I'm sure Nate Oates is feeling that same way. You know, you may drop a game here or there, Drew, but as long as the outcome is you are preparing yourself for March, getting better for conference play, that's why you challenge your team. That's why you play these games at this point in the season.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I don't know that as a longtime Alabama basketball follower that I've seen a schedule as difficult as this one that Alabama's playing. It was difficult last year, but I think this one is even more so. And we're going to talk with our next guest, who for 15-plus years, the longtime color analyst on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. You will hear him and Chris Stewart on the call on Saturday as Alabama is traveling to Houston to take on the top-ranked Cougars. And this was a heck of a basketball game a year ago, won by the University of Alabama in dramatic fashion. Now they're trying to, for the first time ever, I can't remember this, but Brian put on the uniform. He was a great shooter, and maybe he remembers, but I don't know that I ever remember Alabama having a chance to beat two top-ranked teams in one season. They did beat North Carolina, who's not top-ranked anymore, in Portland. He was there with Roger Hoover, and he's been there throughout the season, and we always enjoy catching up with Brian Pasick. Brian, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, and Merry Christmas to you. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, had a great Thanksgiving in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. It was a great trip, and also looking forward to Christmas in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. But, yeah, great opportunity for this Alabama basketball team. And to answer your question, I don't know that Alabama has ever played two different number ones in the same season.
Can't remember that,
Yeah, I know that it's only happened once where a team has beaten two number one teams in the same season. I can't remember. I read that earlier in the week that it has happened one time. But the thing about it is, I mean, you just don't get that many opportunities to play the number one team in the country, much less two times in 3 games. So, exciting opportunity for this Alabama basketball program. It had been since 2004 in the NCAA tournament that Alabama had taken down number one.
Stanford.
And just to have an opportunity to do it twice in a couple of weeks is amazing in itself. So this Houston team, a legit number one. North Carolina, I thought, is a very good team, experienced, essentially the same team that played for the national championship last year, but they were not playing at a high level. Still a huge win against number one and the North Carolina brand and the talent that Hubert Davis has. But when you look at Houston, this is a different animal. They are very much deserving of the number one team ranking in the nation.
Yeah, you get North Carolina on a neutral site, and this one here this weekend's game is in Houston's backyard. It's kind of like walking into a hornet's nest.
Yeah, they're going to be excited, and it's a huge game for both teams. When you go back to last year, one of the great games over the course of the season in college basketball, Alabama holds on. It was a J.D. Davison tip away that the Houston coaches thought was a goaltend. Upon further review, it was not a goaltend, but they were mad, and it was a great game. It was a great environment. That'll be the case in Houston on Saturday. A top 10 matchup this time with number 8 Alabama going to number 1, playing number 1. And, when you're Houston, and it's been a long time since they've been in this position. Now, they've been really good. They've been to Final Four under Kelvin Sampson. They've been highly ranked. They've been in the top 5. But it feels different this year because of having Marcus Sasser back, Jarris Walker, one of the most talented freshmen in the country, and then to go along with the veterans that they have. It feels about as close to the Phi Slama Jama days with Akeem the Dream, Elijah Wan, and Clyde Drexler and that group. And they're excited. And also this will be maybe the biggest game of the year for them to host a top 10 team coming in as the number 1 team in the nation. So a lot of eyes, a lot of excitement will be on the campus of Houston coming up this weekend.
Yeah, and I wanted to harken back because I was on press row for South Dakota State, and with the show he put on in the first 4 or 5 minutes, I thought Robert Ory was back in an Alabama uniform. But watching, and I thought it was an amazing show of toughness by him because he took such a hard spill. You saw that in Portland, but I thought it was a very pleasant surprise to have Noah Clowney back. He had 22 points. He did some really good things in Portland. But I guess the question is, Brian, talk about how you've seen this team grow in the first 8 games.
Well, it's been a great start to the season when you consider how many new faces number 3 recruiting class in the country has produced in a big, big way. They've exceeded expectations, which is hard to do when you're considered maybe the best recruiting class in school history. I mean, at least from a ranking standpoint, they're right there. And they've been better. Brandon Miller has been better than anticipated. Rylan Griffin has done a great job and been a little better than we thought. Jaden Bradley, coming off an injury, is getting better and better. McDonald's All-American, but nobody has, in my opinion, exceeded expectations more so than Noah Clowney. And you could see it this summer when you looked at the new guys coming in, that this guy was very much on par and on the level of some of these McDonald's All-Americans that Alabama currently has several on the team. But he is one that from a talent standpoint, from a work ethic, attitude, all those things, is a high-level player. And he's played at an extremely high level. When he went out in the first 3 minutes against North Carolina, I wasn't sure if with that and the fact that Brandon Miller was in foul trouble, if they could overcome that against a very talented North Carolina team. But because of the depth, they were able to. But to have Noah Clowney back in that game was huge. But for him to produce the way he did was a surprise, even though we all know how good he is. And was happy for him that he shot the ball so well. He is a very good shooter. He did that in high school from 3. He shot the ball at a high level in practice. It just hasn't yet translated to the games. You knew it was just a matter of time. And for him to come in and make 4 out of his first 5 threes, score 22 points, take 4 charges with the lower back injury that he suffered against North Carolina. He was padded up back there. And he was in some pain, but he was giving up his body for the team once again and producing on both ends of the floor. And, when you look at what all these other young players are doing to add the perimeter game to Noah Clowney, it just makes this team much more difficult.
We knew Brandon Miller had talent. We knew coming in. I mean, McDonald's All-American. I mean, he garnered all that in high school. Are you surprised at how good he has been for Alabama this early?
I am, and that's the thing that's crazy is coming into the season, I thought, maybe expectations might be a little bit too high for this guy. Well, I mean, he's been better than that. He's exceeded those ridiculously high expectations. I think he's as talented a player as we've seen at Alabama. I'm not saying he's the best. He's a freshman. He's Alabama has a laundry list of great players who went on to have incredible NBA careers. But just in terms of talent, 6'9", can do it all. Can dribble, pass, and shoot. High basketball IQ, high motor. He's a team guy. He's really got it all. The only thing he doesn't have, and that's why Houston is ranked number one. They've got guys that are talented, but they have experience and they've been through it. They've got juniors and seniors, and Brandon Miller has got it all with one exception, and that is experience at the major college level. And that's why I think it's important to play games like Alabama played in Portland, like they're playing over the next couple of weeks with number one Houston, Memphis, and Gonzaga coming into Birmingham. It's just going to make Brandon Miller and these young Alabama players better and better and more prepared for a rigorous SEC season that'll be here before we know it.
And Brian, as far as it goes, you just saw all three of those high-level games in Oregon, in Portland. I thought the best team they played was UConn. UConn's been tremendous, and I knew playing a tough physical team like Michigan State and then UConn in the back-to-back days was going to be really, really difficult. How would you kind of measure this three-game stretch coming up with that 3 games in 4 days in Portland?
Yeah, it's a great question, and right now, I think Memphis is a dangerous team. They're very talented. They're I don't think they're currently ranked in the top 25, but they're top 25 talent for sure. And they took it to Alabama last year. Gonzaga has been up and down. I mean, they've got one of the best players in the country in Drew Timme. They're a team that has proven that they can go on the road. They have played in a ton of big games over the years, and they'll be ready to play. And so it's hard to say, but you mentioned it in the beginning, and that is this schedule is about as tough as we've ever seen. And oh, by the way, last year's strength of schedule, number one in the country. This one I think will be as well. So the 3-game stretch in Portland was difficult. This is difficult, and I think the philosophy of Nate Oates, which I completely agree with, is to challenge your team as much as you possibly can in the non-conference to get yourself ready. He's not thinking about winning 20 games or 20 whatever games. It's about getting your team better. Also, it helps build your resume for the NCAA tournament. But I think more than that, you've got a young team that's trying to figure out who they are. And by the way, who we think they are is pretty good. But a game like Saturday and next week against Memphis and Gonzaga, for that matter, regardless of the outcome, and hopefully Alabama will go 3-0 and win all these big games. But even if you don't, it teaches you about where you are, what you need to improve on. It exposes maybe weaknesses and flaws, inconsistencies, and it makes you a better basketball player, makes you a better basketball team. Alabama, as a result of going to play the number one team in the country on the road, who happens to be maybe the toughest team and one of the older teams in college basketball, win, lose, or draw is going to make this Alabama team better. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting better as the season progresses and preparing for the SEC season, the SEC tournament, and then hopefully a long run in the NCAA tournament. And I think games like Saturday help you do that.
Yeah, and you look at what the SEC has to offer early on. While Alabama's getting tested in this non-conference schedule, it looks like the SEC again is going to present another challenge in its own right.
I think it's the best conference in the country. And, maybe the Big 12 will have something to say about it. But right now, you look at the SEC, the top half, the projected top half, I think not only will be in the NCAA tournament, but they'll all have a chance to make a run. And then some of the teams that maybe aren't expected to be quite as good, a lot of new blood in the SEC with new coaches. So there's excitement around the league. Every road game is going to be packed. There's going to be excitement, whether it's a rivalry game, whether it's a top 10, top 20 matchup, or it's a team that has a new coach and a new excitement around their program. So I think it's going to be a fun year in SEC basketball. The coaching is outstanding, and you look at the talent that's coming in. I mean, the 5 stars, the top 100 players in the SEC, it is really is not just as good as anybody. It's better. I mean, we're getting more top 100 players than the ACC and Big 12 and Big 10. So the talent level is at a high level. The coaches right now are as good as anywhere, better than anywhere in the country. So it just makes for a tough but fun conference season that'll be coming up. So I'm looking forward to it this year. It's a lot more fun when you're good, and I think Alabama has a chance to be good.
No doubt. And as we're wrapping it up with you, Brian, a couple quick questions. How amazing has it been to see JQ back playing at this level already, coming off the ACL? And then what does Alabama have to do to beat Houston, which would be just monumental?
Yeah, JQ is what he's done is shocking, really. I mean, 8.5 months ago, had knee surgery after tearing his ACL against Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament. And when I saw him, I guess it was about a month ago, he hadn't been cleared yet, but you could just see him working out. And I would not have known that he had an ACL tear. I just his explosiveness, his quickness, which makes him so great, is just not something that you bounce back from in 8 months from an ACL tear. But because of his relentless work, his dedication, the time he spent in rehab and working to get back, he's back a couple of months early. And we've talked a lot about the fact that there's going to be some time where maybe he's trying to get the rust off a little bit. He hasn't played a lot of basketball, over the course of this summer. You play a lot of pickup. He hasn't had a chance to do that because he was in rehab. So there's going to be some ups and downs. But the fact that he's out there and he's moving the way he is really just shocking and a tribute to his work ethic. And to beat Houston, JQ is going to play a major role in that. And I think ball security against the number 1 defensive team in the country. I think they're number 2 in defensive efficiency overall in KenPom. But I think they're the best defensive team I've seen. Having seen a couple of their games, they create turnovers. Alabama has had a tendency to turn it over. If they do that on Saturday, it's going to be very hard to win that game. But easier said than done against a team that defends at such a high level. But I think ball security and also pace of play. If Alabama can get stops and get out and run, Houston's a team that is opportunistic with their break. If they create turnovers, they're going to run. But they're also one of the slower teams from a pace standpoint in college basketball. So they're going to try to grind it out, slow Alabama down. The Tide is going to try to get out and run, but it starts with defensive stops, and you got to take care of the ball against a team like Houston.
You really do. We're looking forward to the call. Brian Passett, Chris Stewart, envious. They're going to Houston to call a high-level basketball game, and I believe pregame will start at 1 o'clock, and the game is at 2 o'clock Central Time, and it will be on the Crimson Tide Sports Network here on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. Safe travels and great call, Brian. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Brian Passett there with us. Let's get that final break in real fast. We're going to wrap this show up when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a new wreck at Jeff Road and Harvest Road. That one is coming in as an injury type. Had one about the 340 I-65 northbound. That's near the Tennessee River Bridge. That one reported as a single car injury type. Lowry and Clint downtown reported with injuries, but they canceled Himsey, and they were trying to clear one on Research Park near University. Had a vehicle flipped around the wrong way there. The $6 big box is back at Popeyes with 2 pieces of that hand-battered Louisiana seasoned chicken, 2 sides, and a buttermilk biscuit. Popeyes, University, and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise on a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
It's
time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Your tomorrow's headlines today. Don't forget, coming up tonight, UAH basketball on our airwaves, as well as Buckhorn basketball on the Blitz Sports Radio, I believe. They had a game last night, and they have another game tonight. So basketball, a plethora over the airwaves.
Yeah, Bandy and Captain Cool were on our 97.7 The Zone. I think were you guys on both last night?
They were on the They were on Zone 2.
Yeah, they were on both. They were on both, Scott. They were on the Blitz and our airwaves because they didn't start till 7:30. So we got done with the drive over there at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. So Bandy and those guys were on both last night. And Bandy, are you going to be on both tonight?
We'll be on Zone 2 tonight.
Zone 2. So it will be Zone 2 tonight. And I think it was a 58-54 win last night. Against a really good Austin team. And who does Buckhorn have tonight?
They have
tell him to use his mic.
Excuse me.
Bailey, use
Lincoln
your mic.
County. Or not Lincoln County. I'm blanking on it.
Okay.
This does not look good in my eyes, but I'm blanking on the name right now.
Yeah, we'll look that up. But, yeah, I know they have Buckhorn basketball tonight as well, and they got a big win. They've been hot, too. They beat Huntsville High at home on their airwaves, and they've got a nice little winning streak going for Buckhorn basketball. And so they will be on the airwaves tonight. Bandy and Captain Cool will be on there, and they will be playing, it looks like.
Yep, Lincoln County.
Yeah, Lincoln County. Because I know Austin Coletti does Lincoln County games, so they may have dueling radio crews tonight as he may be traveling to Buckhorn as Lincoln County will take on the Bucks.
All right, there you go. That's going to do it for our week edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seed, Managing Partner of University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Crimson Tide football.